we are going to be joined by Representative Jason Rojas. He represents the 9th House District. Representative Rojas, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on and good to see you both.
Well, thank you for joining us. And you appear to be on the brink of becoming the next majority leader in the House of Representatives. Anything change that prospect tonight, as far as you know?
Well, that's a heck of a lead-out question for me. I'm still trying to get all the results in from my own race before moving on to what is my next endeavor and the goal to be the next majority leader. Nothing has changed thus far. The most important thing for me was to win my own election. So then I can go out and engage my colleagues in another conversation about leadership opportunities that exist for me.
And when will they vote on that?
We generally vote 2 days after the election, so the vote is expected to take place on Thursday. Like many things, we're still figuring out the exact logistics of how that vote's going to take place because of, considerations around COVID, and we also have to make sure that we have all the results in for all our colleagues
right.
in the House Democratic Caucus.
And do you expect that you will have all the results in by Thursday?
Yeah, I think so. I think our registrars and our town clerks and folks were prepared at the local level. I think we're already starting to see results come in some races. There are some folks who have been declared winners. I've heard that, Robin Comey down in Bradford was able to win. And I think we picked up a seat in Waterbury with Mike DiGiancarlo, which would be a pickup for us. So we're starting to get those results in. And I think, we're going to have a pretty strong Democratic caucus come next term.
It was such a strange campaign, given that there were not a lot of issues that were on the voters' minds because there was almost no legislative session right before the election due to COVID. But did the police accountability bill, did you see that coming up in a lot of races where, anything else that your people in your caucus were having to deal with and answer to?
Yeah, I think it depends on the district, right? There were certainly some Republican candidates who chose to exploit that issue more so than others. It wasn't much of an issue in my race, but we know it was an issue in another race in Manchester with Representative Doucette and his opponent, who chose to make that, I think, the singular issue of their campaign. I don't know that he really talked about anything. And that's just kind of the political opportunity that they believed the police accountability bill was. I didn't see it in many other districts. I door knocked for other candidates in other districts, and that wasn't the issue that was top of mind. I think most people were worried about COVID naturally, but some of the traditional issues that we deal with from year to year, right? Taxes and property taxes and education, all those issues were still really important to people. I think the biggest issue is, COVID and how we continue to manage our response to it, and certainly the impact that it's had on the economy and how it impacts people's jobs.
Were you satisfied at how many voters you were able to see during the campaign?
Yeah, I started door knocking in August, right? Got to, 2,000-3,000 doors. I didn't, people were comfortable with me being at the door. I had a mask on. I would knock on the door, step off the porch. Nobody really indicated that there was a level of discomfort with me knocking on their door. Most people were actually really engaging, and perhaps like many people, I think they were happy to talk, perhaps to somebody outside of their family unit,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And why not a nice state representative candidate?
How concerned are you about the budget situation that you're going to be facing when you do go back into session? It's almost a little hard for the public, I think, to follow. At first, it seemed like it was a enormous problem. Then it seemed like, well, actually, our tax revenues it came in at a pretty good pace. How are you feeling about the budget issue?
Right. I think like any year that we're going into a new legislative term, I'm cautiously optimistic about what we have before us. Obviously, we have a record-setting rainy day fund, which I think is going to help mitigate either draconian spending cuts or having to look at revenue on the revenue side of the budget. I think Governor Lamont has shown great leadership in exercising restraint in terms of how he approached his first budget and ensuring that we make sure that rainy day fund was going to be in place for a rainy day. And, COVID obviously resulted in a rainy day for the state of Connecticut and for the entire country. And I think we're much better positioned than we were, 1 year ago, 2 years ago. We certainly have significant challenges ahead of us, but I think we can manage them. We have a lot of great legislators in the House Democratic Caucus. I expect we'll have great leaders on the Appropriations Committee and on the Finance Committee. I'm currently the chairman. I hope to not be the chairman by the time January comes around because of the majority leader race. But I think we're as best prepared as we can be to weather this storm, and we hope that our revenue numbers continue to trend in the right direction in terms of our recovery.
That's a good question. Who's going to be the next appropriations chair if you become majority leader?
Yeah, that's a question that's left to rising Speaker of the House Matt Ritter, who I think you might be talking to later this evening. So you can certainly offer that question.
You're going to punt it to him. Okay.
He might consult with you, though. Okay. You might have a word or two with him.
Thank you very much,
I think
Representative Rojas.
You'd appreciate my feedback.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll be talking to you a bit in the future, I hope, on Face the State.
My pleasure. Look forward to working with you both.
Okay. Thank you very much.